Discover the incredible transformation. Single mothers crying twins reveal a hidden, touching secret. Amelia arrived home after another exhausting shift, her body screaming for rest while her mind remained a whirlwind of hospital memories. The weight of the day's emotional toll clung to her like a heavy cloak. As a nurse, she often shielded herself beneath layers of professionalism, comforting strangers while neglecting her own weariness. She felt hollow, yet the moment she walked through the door, her need to be the best mother possible surged back to life. But today, as she opened the door to her modest suburban home, she was hit by a wall of tension. The house was silent, an ominous contrast to the usual playful chaos caused by her spirited twin daughters, Lily and Mia. Her heart raced as she set her bag down, feeling the familiar pull of dread knotting in her stomach. What had gone wrong now? She called out for them, but there was no reply. Panic mingled with exhaustion as she climbed the stairs to their shared room. That's when she found them, huddled on the rug, tears streaming down their delicate cheeks. They weren't crying out of sadness, but rather in sorrow for a friend facing bullying at school. The sight was gut-wrenching and so familiar. Remembering her own childhood pain, she felt a tempest of emotions crash over her. "Why are you crying?" she gently asked, kneeling beside them. The girls looked up, their faces a mix of anguish and compassion. It was a moment that served as a mirror for Amelia. Somewhere beneath her relentless dedication to work and motherhood, she had lost sight of herself. She wanted to nurture their empathy and strength, yet the grind of work consumed her thoughts, leaving little room for anything else. Could she balance her own survival with the lessons she wanted to teach them? Before we continue, I need to tell you about something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to the system and many people are losing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and mark all notifications so you don't miss the next videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue. As the weeks rolled by, the twins found an old canvas and brushes in the attic, and their excitement reignited a spark within Amelia. She hesitated at first, apprehensive about exposing her dormant passion for painting. But the glittering hope in Lily and Mia's eyes pulled her in. They began painting together, vibrant colors splashing against the stark white canvas, and for the first time in a long while, Amelia felt an illusion of joy, yet a gnawing fear constantly loomed. Was this nothing more than a distraction from the daunting economic challenges hanging over their heads? But their budding artistic talent was met with skepticism. A local gallery owner scoffed at their work, dismissively lobbing remarks that pierced Amelia's heart. How could someone overlook the beauty and honesty they poured into each stroke simply because of where they came from? The audacity stung, and it sparked a blazing fire within her, a force not just to protect her daughters but to show them that resilience and self-worth could trump outward judgment. As they prepared for their community exhibition, the emotional toll grew heavier. Each brushstroke transformed into a battle as whispers of doubt crept in. Could they truly prove themselves, or were they simply destined to remain in the shadows? The night of the exhibition loomed, wrapping them in a mix of anticipation and dread. When Amelia and her girls stood before their canvases, exposed to the world, every heartbeat felt suspended in time. But just as they unveiled their souls, the gallery owner arrived, a judgmental glint in his eyes. His cold dismissal nearly shattered Amelia. Would they stand a chance against the barriers of prejudice? Would anyone see the truth hidden beneath the surface? As the tension thickened and the audience collectively drew a breath, Amelia realized this was the moment that could either make or break their fight for validation. Hers and her daughter's futures tangled in an uncertain dance. The silence in the room was palpable as Amelia stood before her canvases, Lily and Mia flanking her. Each of their paintings, a vivid tapestry of emotion, seemed to hold the weight of their dreams and fears. This wasn't just a gallery appearance, it was a vulnerability laid bare, exposing the raw edges of their existence to scrutiny. The gallery owner's cold stare bored into her, but something different flickered inside her, a flame of defiance igniting against the unseen walls closing in around them. "Just breathe," she mouthed to Lily and Mia, forcing herself to smile despite the knot in her throat. They needed her strength. She needed it too. But deep within, a storm of self-doubt clashed with burgeoning determination. What if their passion wasn't enough? What if she had allowed herself to dream only to be struck down again by prejudice? As they stood together, Amelia's mind spiraled back to nights filled with fraught silence, when her ambitions felt crushed under the weight of reality. She recalled her nursing days, moments where she had given everything for others while feeling herself dissolve into the background fuzziness of life's disappointments. Would this be yet another instance of losing herself in the quiet echo of someone else's dismissal? But then she felt it, the tightening bond with her daughters as they exchanged glances, silent promises of support fluttering between them. They had shifted from looking for approval to defining their own worth through creation. Maybe this wasn't just about defeating an unsympathetic gallery owner, it was about reclaiming the power they held together. The audience, composed of a few curious onlookers, began to filter through the space, their eyes scanning the vibrant colors that spoke of struggle, joy, and the healing that painting had brought them. Amelia studied one particular woman, a fellow artist, someone who seemed to recognize passion regardless of origin. In that moment, Amelia sensed the yearning for connection, for understanding rather than judgment. With her heart racing, she took a step forward. "Art is meant to be a reflection of our truth," she called out, her voice surprisingly steady. "It holds pieces of us, convoluted and beautiful. Each stroke on that canvas carries the weight of our battles, and the love we build amidst the pain." Her words hung in the air, tension laced with hope. The gallery owner, watching with narrowed eyes, shifted uncomfortably. A flicker of doubt crossed his face. Maybe he hadn't anticipated this level of vulnerability and strength. And as more onlookers approached, intrigued by Amelia's heartfelt proclamation, the atmosphere began to shift, no longer the harsh judgment of one, but the curious engagement of many. Yet shadows still lingered in Amelia's heart. She wasn't naive to think this moment alone would erase their doubts. Doubt twirled within her like a dance partner, leading her in circles of insecurity. She had long fought for recognition, not just for her and her daughters but for every time she had been overlooked or underestimated. With a deep breath, she reined in her focus, redirecting it back to the canvases, now her haven of reinvention. She turned to the twins, who were genuinely engaged with the visitors, laughing, sharing, and breathing in the moment. They looked magnificent under the gallery lights, radiant smiles illuminating their colorful expressions. Suddenly, a voice rose above the murmurs. "Can you explain how you made this piece?" It was the curious woman, her gaze alight with genuine interest. Amelia's heart raced again, this time not with fear, but with excitement. Here was a chance not just to share their story, but to challenge the gallery owner's narrow perspective. They were moving away from mere survival. They were embarking on a journey of artistic empowerment. "Every brushstroke represents our family's journey," Amelia began confidently, locking eyes with her daughters. "The highs, the lows, the upheavals, and the victories. We want to inspire others who feel like they are unnoticed." But the gallery owner stepped forward, crossing his arms. "Still, it's just kids' art." Something snapped inside her. This was their moment, not just theirs but a defiance against harsh dismissal. "Art has no age limits," she countered, her words matching the fire igniting in her belly. "It carries emotion, intention, and experience, no matter the artist's age. That's what makes it powerful." With that statement, she made a choice, not just to stand for herself, but to uplift her daughters even more. With their future still a fragile thread woven from hope and resilience, she took a step further forward into the fray. Would this be the turning point, an origin story of growth, or a spiral back into doubt? The answer hung in the air, as unyielding as the weight of their creativity. From the gallery floor to the heart of the moment, she could feel the atmosphere shift. But standing in the face of adversity, they were just beginning to understand what stood behind every challenge. What came next could either confirm or unravel everything they had built together. The pulse of the moment quickened, anticipating the choices yet to unfurl. Amelia's mind raced as she met the gallery owner's challenge with fierce resolve. She could feel the tension crackling in the air, not only from the audience but within herself. In that heartbeat, she recognized the transformative opportunity that stood before her. It wasn't just about defending her daughter's art, it was about reclaiming her identity. Art isn't confined to the walls of age and expectation, she insisted, her voice rising with purpose. It's a canvas of experience, a testament to resilience. Each piece here carries our stories of struggle and hope. She could see the gallery owner shifting uncomfortably, the doubt in his eyes renewing Amelia's resolve. This was her moment to articulate the depth of their journey, a moment where vulnerability transformed into strength. Around her, the crowd began to lean in, their expressions shifting from casual interest to rapt attention. It was as if they had been waiting for a signal, and now they had one. Feeling lay the tantalizing prospect of a deeper confrontation, one that would test the very essence of their art and her role as a mother. "Will you be joining us for a dialogue with the artists?" She heard a voice chime from the back of the gallery. It was the curious woman again, her enthusiasm infectious. Amelia's heart stuttered in response to the invitation, a mixture of trepidation and excitement flooding her veins. This wasn't merely about her or her daughters anymore, it was about stepping into a broader narrative, one that could shatter the limitations imposed by the owner's lack of vision. She locked eyes with Lily and Mia, sensing their shared determination. One deep breath later, she whispered, "Are we ready?" Little did they know, this would be the gate to unveiling not just their art but the deeper corners of their hearts, a place where courage testifies and resilience transforms. Would they emerge as artists of their own story, ready to face every uncertainty that lay ahead? As the murmurs of the crowd enveloped her, Amelia felt an inexplicable shift within herself. The intensity of the situation morphed her anxiety into an electric anticipation. She took a step closer to the small platform designated for the dialogue, and her heart thumped against her chest like a drum, urging her onward. Lily, her face adorned with a spirited smile, took her position beside her mother, determined to show the world the art that emanated from their shared struggles. Mia, embodying her quiet strength, gently nudged Amelia, grounding her with an assurance that echoed between them. They were in this together, bound by love and a shared vision. With a deep breath, Amelia glanced out at the audience. The curious woman, who had prompted this session, leaned forward, her eyes sparkling with eagerness. This was Amelia's moment to forge a connection, not just defend their existence as artists, but to express the spirit of their journey. "What do you want to know?" Amelia asked, feeling an unexpected confidence flow from her words. As she spoke, she embraced the vulnerability that had once paralyzed her. The woman poised her question, now a facilitator of their narrative. "What does each piece mean to you?" Amelia's mind instantly danced with the memories attached to each painting, how a sunset splashed against canvas mirrored a night of fierce discussion while seeking solutions. How a seemingly chaotic blend of colors echoed the anxiety of balancing work and parenting. She took a moment before responding, letting the silence breathe life into her thoughts. "Each piece tells a story of resilience," she began, her voice firm yet soft. "These aren't just colors on a canvas, they encapsulate our losses and our victories, a state of finding beauty through adversity." As the dialogue continued, she noticed the flickers of understanding ripple through the audience. They weren't merely observing, they were participating, captivated by the story that each brushstroke conveyed. In the back of her mind, Amelia wrestled with the gallery owner's lingering skepticism. What if he remained an obstruction? What if he expelled their effort as trivial? But each inquiry from the audience chipped away at her uncertainty, laying bare the transformative power of their art. "Have you ever considered combining your styles?" Another voice piped up, igniting a spark of interest within Amelia. This question opened a door to possibilities they hadn't explored, a fusion of expression. The thought thrilled her. "That's something we've discussed," she admitted. "Each of us has a unique perspective. Collaborating could culminate in something raw and profound." The dialogue turned into a vibrant exchange, ideas flowed between them like paint spilling across canvas. Amelia could sense the shift within her daughters as they animatedly shared their thoughts, their voices weaving a tapestry of mutual encouragement. In the midst of this exchange, a new realization settled in Amelia's heart. This was no longer about proving themselves to the gallery owner, it was about carving their own space within the art world. She presented herself not as a defensive artist clinging to recognition, but as a visionary guiding her daughters toward their artistry, bound by a shared history. With each discussion, she felt herself revitalize, blossoming from the fear of judgment into the fortitude of self-acceptance. Their art was not just for approval but for expression, connection, and understanding. But as the evening wore on, the shadow of the gallery owner still loomed in the corner of her mind. She noticed him shifting his weight, impatience creeping onto his face. Would he intervene? Would he try to quash the momentum they had built? The tension between her growing confidence and the owner's dismissive demeanor became a pulsating thread woven through the event. It held the potential to unravel everything they had worked for or launch them into a realm where they could reclaim their narrative. As the session drew to a close, Amelia caught the owner catching a glimpse of Mia and Lily. A flicker of something, was it fear, or perhaps admiration, flashed across his face, leaving Amelia wondering if he, too, was grappling with his own preconceptions. "Thank you all for engaging with us," Amelia concluded, her voice steady and resolute. "This dialogue has reaffirmed not just what our art means, but what it can become." But beneath the surface, she felt the impending confrontation looming, one that wouldn't just involve their art, but how they would challenge the cynicism surrounding it. With each step toward the exit, Amelia sensed that her journey was far from complete, a door opening to unexpected challenges that threatened to rise from the shadows of the gallery. Would she be ready to confront the gallery owner and claim the space they deserved, or would doubt trap them once more? The evening air felt electric as Amelia and her daughters stepped outside the gallery, their senses still tingling from the dialogue that had just unfolded. The warmth of the crowd's engagement lingered around them like a comforting blanket, yet the cold night threatened to seep in with the weight of impending judgments. "Mom, did you see how interested they were?" Lily burst out, her excitement radiating, illuminating the shadows that clung to Amelia's thoughts. Amelia nodded, allowing their happiness to wash over her. Reflections from the evening danced in her mind, but soon, they were abruptly pierced by the reality of the gallery owner's presence. Could they translate their triumphs into tangible opportunities, or was it foolish to walk down that path while a potential wall of resistance stood before them? Amelia's mind spiraled, contemplating the owner's reaction. Had she really changed the narrative in the eyes of people who once viewed their art as frivolous? The internal battle brewed, self-doubt nagged, but beneath it lay a smoldering excitement. This was the awakening she'd sought for years, yet it felt ominous too. The threat of failure loomed like a storm cloud on the horizon. Mia, sensing the tension, placed a gentle hand on her mother's arm. "You were incredible up there, Mom," she murmured, her voice infused with conviction. "We need to harness this light and make something powerful together." Amelia turned to her daughters, gratitude swelling in her chest. Their shared determination echoed her newfound resolve. "You're right. This is our moment, and I can't allow someone else's skepticism to dictate our journey." With each parting word, they walked away from the gallery, fueled by possibilities yet heavily burdened by the reality of needing to confront the gallery owner. Amelia had a decision to make: to ignore the gnawing fear and admit her vulnerability for the sake of their ambitions, or let history dictate her actions. Over the next few days, Amelia immersed herself in the creative process, pulling inspiration from every corner of her world, weaving it into their art. It was no longer simply about colors and strokes, it was their life story, their shared pain turned into beauty. The thought of fusing their styles fascinated her. But would the gallery owner recognize their evolution? After a sleepless night spent sketching ideas, Amelia awoke with a singular clarity: the art was bigger than her own fears. It was about honoring their journey. Would they risk everything? The thought of approaching the gallery owner lingered like an ultimatum. That day would decide their fate. As they gathered their pieces for the next meeting, a mix of fear and excitement coursed through her veins. This was at the defining moment where she would either cower behind self-doubt or rise to face it head-on. In the days leading up to the meeting, the three of them combed through their canvases, debating colors and styles, laughter mingling with tension as they selected pieces showcasing their individual identities alongside their burgeoning collaborative spirit. It felt good, liberating even. Yet Amelia couldn't shake the underlying dread. If he rejects us again, the thought hung in the air. Could she handle that? Then we find another way, Lily, with wild confidence, replied. We're artists, Mom. This isn't the end of our journey, it's just one step. Amelia found strength in her daughter's unwavering belief. Perhaps it wouldn't be the gallery owner who determined their destiny, after all. Perhaps they had the power to reshape it on their own terms. Finally, the day arrived when they confronted the gallery owner. As they walked into his office, the air thickened with tension. Amelia's heart raced, but she pressed forward, fueled by determination. The gallery owner looked up from his papers, a mixture of surprise and skepticism clouding his features. "Let us talk about where we go from here," Amelia began, her voice steadying for confrontation. But as she prepared to dive into their bold vision, she sensed a chilling doubt creeping in. Would her words stand against his dismissive gaze, or would this moment turn into another winding road of rejection? Amelia drew a deep breath, ready to unveil their transformation, or risk everything for a chance to redefine what had been dismissed. The stakes had never been higher, and every moment of hesitation threatened the momentum they had built. The moment of truth arrived as she held her daughter's hands, ready to step into the future. Would they find acceptance, or would they be shut out once more? The silence in the room was deafening as Amelia gathered her thoughts, the gallery owner's expectant gaze pressing against her like a physical weight. She saw the unspoken challenge in his eyes. This was not just a dialogue about art, it was a confrontation with doubt, an examination of worth beneath a watchful observer. "Thank you for seeing us," she said, forcing her voice to remain steady. "This is more than a collection of our work. It's a culmination of our experiences, our growth, and the emotional landscape we've journeyed through together." As she began to speak about the new direction of their art, she could feel her heart pounding against her ribs, each beat a reminder of the fragility of the moment. The words poured out, laced with the conviction that had bubbled up within her over the past weeks. She explained how they had embraced each other's styles, creating a cohesive narrative that told the story of their family. Mia and Lily stood beside her, their presence a silent affirmation, boosting Amelia's courage. Every glance at them ignited a flame of determination, grounding her in the realization that this was about more than just art, it was a testament to their resilience and bond. "So, what do you think?" she concluded, her breath caught in her throat as the gallery owner leaned back, arms crossed, assessing her with a discerning eye. For what felt like an eternity, he remained silent, scrutinizing the pieces laid out before him. Amelia's anxiety spiraled higher, but deep down, she clung to a fragile hope. They had put everything into this moment, channeling their vulnerabilities into their art. Surely, it had to resonate. "Your work is interesting," he finally said, the word almost falling flat. "But I still question if it fits with the gallery's current direction. The collaborative effort is evident, but will people connect with this deeper narrative?" A wave of disappointment washed over Amelia. Each word was like a nail, hammering down her ideas, yet within that despair, a flicker of defiance ignited. "What if," Amelia said, feeling a surge of newfound boldness, "we host a smaller exhibit to engage with the community? To invite feedback from those who might not understand our art yet? We could determine its resonance through genuine conversations." The gallery owner's brows raised slightly, as if surprised by her audacity, but a hint of curiosity sparked in his eyes. "Interesting approach," he mused, his fingers tapping rhythmically against the desk. "But is that a risk you're willing to take? What if it fails?" The question hung in the air, heavy with the weight of potential. Amelia exchanged a glance with her daughters, who nodded encouragingly. Failure was a specter always looming, haunting her decisions. But this time, she would not shrink back. "Yes," she answered, an unwavering clarity settling around her. "If this journey has taught me anything, it's that I'm not afraid of failure anymore. It's part of defining who we are. I want to learn and I want our art to evolve." His expression softened for a brief second, as if he recognized the courage in her words. "Very well. You have one chance to prove it. I'll entertain your idea, but understand that you must be prepared for any outcome." Relief washed over Amelia mixed with a surge of triumph. This was not a guarantee, but it was something, a rare opportunity to showcase their growth on their own terms. As they left his office, Mia squeezed her hand, a flood of happiness in her eyes. "We did it, Mom. This is our start. Yet as they stepped back into the crisp evening air, a thought nagged at the edges of Amelia's mind. Was she truly ready to put their personal story on display for the world to see? The road ahead shimmered with promise, but it also pulsed with trepidation. Every connection and critique would peel back layers of themselves they had kept hidden. In that moment of exhilaration and fear, Amelia turned and faced her daughters. We need to prepare ourselves for what's next. This exhibition could lead to great things, but we must refine our story and be ready for anything. As they walked side by side into the night, Amelia was struck by the realization that the most profound transformations occur not just within the canvas, but through the trials of vulnerability. Little did they know, the journey through acceptance and rejection would hold far more lessons than just artistic prowess. The real test lay in their ability to remain authentic in a world that often resisted connection. And as the city lights flickered around them, she felt the weight of the long path ahead, where art and identity would eventually collide in spectacular ways. What would the community think when faced with their truth? Only time could tell. Amelia awoke the next morning, the sunlight streaming through the window, painting golden patterns on her walls. It was a new day, yet the sense of apprehension lingered. Thoughts of the upcoming exhibit crowded her mind. Would the community embrace them? What if they didn't? They needed to craft a narrative that felt both raw and constructed, personal yet relatable, and that would resonate within the hearts of their audience. In the kitchen, Mia and Lily chattered excitedly about what they could contribute to the exhibit. Their enthusiasm was palpable, and it fueled Amelia's determination, yet her own doubts loomed like a shadow. She smiled at her daughters, savoring this moment of joy, but her mind circled back. What if their story, that deep exploration of family dynamics and struggles, was too much for others to bear? Maybe we should start with a sketch of what we want to present, she suggested, her voice steady despite her fidgeting hands. Let us write down our emotions, our inspirations, everything we believe will connect with the audience. The girls nodded, eyes bright with inspiration. They gathered at the dining table, paper and colored markers spread around them. As they began to articulate their ideas, Amelia watched her daughters, their creativity unfurling like flowers blossoming under the sun. What about focusing on memories? Lily suggested, like the time we painted together in the park. What beautifully captures who we are, Amelia encouraged, brushing off her earlier doubt. Perhaps the rawness of their memories could forge a bridge to the audience's own experiences. As the hours melted away, laughter filled the room, interspersed with moments of introspective silence as they each thought about the personal stories they wanted to tell through their art. It was invigorating, yet Amelia felt a knot tightening in her stomach. She had always been the protector, the one to ensure they were shielded from the harsh realities of life. But now, opening up their personal lives to others felt vulnerable in a way she'd never experienced before. I think we should include the difficult parts too, Mia said suddenly, surprising Amelia. Like when we had to move after Dad left. Amelia hesitated, guilt washing over her. Part of her wanted to shield her daughters from painful memories, even if they were part of their truth. Are you sure you're ready to share that? She asked carefully. Mia met her gaze with fierce determination. It's real, Mom. It's part of our journey. Something in that moment clicked within Amelia. This wasn't just about how others viewed them, it was about their own acceptance of their truth. The more they could communicate their vulnerabilities, the greater the likelihood of forging authentic connections with others. That realization ignited a flame within her. Then yes, she said, voice firm. Let us include everything that defines us, our joy, our sorrow, the love we have for each other. If we can be courageous enough to lay it all bare, perhaps others will find the courage to face their truths too. By the time twilight cast its cool shadow, they had sketched a preliminary outline of their exhibit. There was power in their collective effort, each piece tied together like a vibrant tapestry woven with threads of their lives. As Amelia cleaned up, a thoughtful expression crossed her face. What if confronting their past in such a public way caused repercussions? The thought of vulnerability was daunting, but yielding to fear felt even worse. Ready or not, she whispered to herself, here we go. Later that night, as they settled into bed, a sudden realization pricked her consciousness. It wasn't just the community she needed to prepare for, it was herself. The exhibition was as much a revelation for her as it was for anyone else viewing it. And as she closed her eyes, Amelia's heart raced at the thought of standing before a crowd, exposing the truth of their lives. The weight of possibility pressed against her chest. She could either shatter under it or rise empowered. What awaited them during those heartfelt moments of connection with their audience was still unknown, but one thing rang clear: everything hung in the balance of her capacity to embrace authenticity. And that question loomed over her as darkness enveloped the room. Was she truly ready to unveil the full spectrum of their shared experience, and would it set them free or bind them in ways she never imagined? Morning light filtered in once again, reflecting the fragility of Amelia's resolve. She woke with a renewed sense of urgency. The exhibition was only days away. Already, her mind raced through a mental checklist of what lay ahead: final touches on their artwork, rehearsing their presentation, and preparing for the inevitable reactions. Each thought was a tick of a time bomb, and handing pieces of their life over to strangers felt increasingly daunting. As she made her way through the house, remnants of doubt still clung to her like the lingering chill of dawn. The prospect of exploring their pasts filled her with a complex mix of fear and determination. Could they showcase not just the happiness but also their struggles without overwhelming the audience? In her studio, Amelia set to work. The paintbrush felt foreign in her hand. A tool she had wielded with ease had now become a catalyst for anxiety. As she stared at the blank canvas, she recalled Mia's fierce conviction from the night before. There was strength in vulnerability. Perhaps the two could coexist, the joy and sorrow intertwined. Drawing a deep breath, Amelia dipped the brush into vibrant colors that danced together. The strokes began as tentative, searching for form. At that moment, she realized that creating art mirrored her journey through motherhood, filling the canvas with textures and layers, both beautiful and conflicted. With every stroke, she confronted her fears, transforming them into a vivid portrayal of their life. As the afternoon sun warmed her workspace, the door to her studio creaked open. Mia and Lily peeked inside, their eyes wide with curiosity. They bounded over to her, and Amelia turned her attention from the half-finished piece to meet their gaze. "Can we help, Mom?" Lily asked, her enthusiasm palpable. Amelia hesitated, feeling the weight of vulnerability prick at her. "Are you sure?" "It's not just about colors, it's about our story," she replied, gauging their readiness. Mia stepped forward, unabashed. "We want to add our parts too. Together we can make it real." A warmth surged through Amelia's heart. This was an unexpected opportunity and avenue to share not only the weight of their past but to also empower her daughters through artistic expression. "Okay," she said, a smile creeping across her face. "Let us do this together." With the three of them pooling their ideas, the collaborative effort transformed the atmosphere. Colors splashed against each other, patterns emerging organically as they joined hands to express shared rise and fall, their laughter intertwining with the impactful memories they painted. Yet, as dusk approached, Amelia could still feel a flicker of uncertainty gnawing at her. The exhibit would soon be tangible, and her trepidation began to twist. Would their stories resonate? Would they judge her intimately woven truths? "You're not afraid, are you?" Mia's question broke the silence, her brow furrowed. It nudged Amelia to confront her own hesitation. What if they don't understand? Amelia mused, voicing her unspoken fears. Lily was quick to defend, but it doesn't matter if they get it perfectly. What matters is that it's our story, and we can share it together. In that moment, a crack formed in Amelia's self-imposed barriers. Her narrative was worth sharing, not just for others but for themselves. The realization hit her: acceptance would soften the blow of any criticism, providing them with the strength to rise above doubt. As they stepped back to admire their work, a newfound determination began to pulse within her. This was a chance not just to share their struggles but to redefine those experiences into something beautiful and liberating. The exhibition loomed, and though Amelia felt the twinge of fear, a stronger voice whispered, "You are ready." This journey was less about the audience's perception and more about their own growth, their own truth laid bare for the world to see. Tomorrow held the unknown, but tonight, amidst the echoes of laughter and the strokes of color, Amelia stepped toward a path of authenticity, a pivotal change on the horizon. And as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting long shadows through the window, the question now lingered: would she find the courage to embrace the feedback and criticism awaiting them, or would she turn back at the brink of revealing everything? The morning came too soon, unraveling the promise of a peaceful night's sleep. Amelia rubbed her eyes, her mind still whirling with thoughts of the exhibition, now just hours away. It felt surreal that their stories, their struggles and triumphs would soon be laid bare in front of an audience. Today was more than just about showcasing art, it was about exposing the truth of who they were. Sitting at the kitchen table over a hastily made breakfast, the conversations about their artwork flowed naturally. The chaotic energy of Mia and Lily transformed the atmosphere, their excitement palpable. Yet, beneath Amelia's surface smile, a current of anxiety twisted her stomach. Would they hear her? Would they understand the essence of what they were sharing? As the morning light flooded the room, illuminating every corner, Amelia felt strangely inspired. She resolved to face her fears head-on. This was a unique chance not only to reveal their artistic expression but also to teach her daughters an invaluable lesson about honesty. Vulnerability wasn't something to shy away from, it was a bridge to deeper connections. Do you both remember why we chose those moments to capture? She asked, looking at each girl earnestly. Mia nodded, her brow furrowed in concentration. The way we felt when we moved, she said cautiously. And when we laughed and cried. We should explain that too. Lily chimed in, it was hard, especially when we lost things. Amelia's heart tightened at that reminder. Loss. It was a complex part of their narrative that they incorporated into their artwork. Sharing that vulnerability was crucial but terrifying. Yes, but sharing those lessons can also be powerful. It's okay to let others see our hardships, she said, trying to navigate the delicate balance between honesty and exposure. As they made their way to the studio, the atmosphere shifted again, less playful now, more earnest. They cleared their workspace, preparing for the final touches. Each brushstroke and color choice took on heightened significance. Their piece was becoming a living tapestry of their shared experiences. Amelia caught sight of the painted edges that reflected tumultuous periods of their lives, the wild brushstrokes representing frustration, the soft pastels embodying moments of joy. It dawned upon her how art could serve as a mirror. Through the emotional labors that she and her daughters poured into the canvas, they were healing. Despite the growing apprehension, Amelia directed their energies with renewed clarity. She guided Mia and Lily, inviting them to express not just their thoughts but their emotions. Together they revisited each layer of the piece. Their discussions evolved into powerful exchanges that demanded both depth and introspection. What if they only focus on the sadness? Amelia voiced her worry, still grappling with doubt. Mia offered a soft smile, that's okay. They should see how brave you've been, Mom. We've all been brave. Amelia's heart swelled. These weren't just words. Mia was channeling their fears into a strength Amelia hoped to embrace herself. Battling self-doubt as a mother, and as an artist, she was learning alongside them. As the hours dwindled to minutes, the excitement built alongside her anxiety. Each tick of the clock echoed in her mind. Could she step into the light, take the stage, and deliver a presentation that truly embodied who they were? The exhibition was a test, not only of her artistry but of her resilience. Finally, as they finished the last brushstroke, they stood back, their eyes wide with awe. It was complete, and yet, a gnawing apprehension lingered within Amelia. Today wasn't just about revealing their creation, but unearthing their vulnerabilities in front of strangers, a confrontation she was far from ready to face. The moment of truth loomed, and as Amelia's thoughts raced, a new unsettling question arose. Would she seize the opportunity to share their full truth, or would she shrink back, stifling the wisdom that had emerged from their journey? Amelia heard the gentle rustle of the gallery attendees as they mingled, anticipation crackling in the air like static. The exhibition was underway, and she stood at the entrance with Lily and Mia, their hearts thumping harmoniously, the air thick with excitement and anxiety. It was more than just an exhibition of their art, it was their collective declaration of resilience and authenticity, a testament to their journey as a family. Today marked a pivotal moment, not only for the community but for Amelia personally. No longer was she just a nurse, it was time to recognize herself as an artist, a mother, and a role model for her daughters. With each brushstroke they crafted together over the past weeks, they had woven their stories of struggle and hope into the canvas, creating a vivid tapestry that showcased both beauty and pain. "Mama, look." Mia's voice broke through her thoughts as she pointed to their painting displayed prominently in the gallery. The vibrant colors flowed like memories, while darker shades represented the obstacles they had faced. Each viewer leaned in, captivated by the narrative unfolding through their art. Amelia took a deep breath, feeling a swell of pride course through her. This was their moment of transformation. As they approached the canvas together, nervousness clung to Amelia like a shadow, but she was determined to step into the spotlight, to embrace vulnerability rather than shy away from it. She exchanged a glance with Mia and Lily, feeling reassured by their silent yet fierce determination. In that moment, she realized that courage wasn't the absence of fear, it was the readiness to face it. Taking the stage, Amelia felt her heart race, but as she looked out into the sea of faces, her confidence surged. "Thank you for being here," she began, her voice steady. "Tonight, we want to share a piece of our journey through art, how it reflects our struggles, our laughter, and our love." The room quieted, the audience's attention riveted to her. With every word, she unlocked parts of her story she had long kept buried, her fears of inadequacy, her struggles as a single mother, and the healing power of creativity that had ignited within their home. Each painting embodied the raw honesty she had once hesitated to reveal, a gift that could resonate with others facing their own battles. "And yes," Amelia continued, "we chose to include the hard parts, the moments that brought us to our knees. Because it's those moments that have made us who we are. We have learned that vulnerability is a strength, not a weakness." Nods of understanding rippled through the crowd. She could see their expressions shift from curiosity to empathy, strangers relating to pieces of her heart laid bare. A collective recognition began to bloom. Their narrative was universal, one of transformation through struggle. As the evening unfolded, conversations flowed. The onlookers approached the canvas, leaning in to inquire about the meaning behind specific brushstrokes or colors. Amelia felt exhilaration as they engaged in deep discussions about resilience, family bonds, and the importance of acknowledging pain in art. This engagement validated their experiences, reinforcing that they had done more than create art, they had invoked a dialogue about shared humanity. A voice piped up from the back of the gallery, "What's next for you all?" It was the curious woman from their previous conversation, a newfound ally who had followed the evolution of their story with keen interest. Amelia smiled, a surge of possibility igniting within her. "Our journey is just beginning. We hope to curate workshops, to invite families to express their stories through art. By doing so, we can build a community that values connection and understanding." The gallery owner, previously a specter of disapproval, stepped forward, his demeanor softened. "I must admit, your conviction and creativity have changed my perspective. Perhaps I underestimated the power of what you present here." The murmurs of the crowd echoed a shared sentiment of agreement, appreciation blossoming like wildflowers in spring. The quiet drumming of doubt that once consumed Amelia transformed into a chorus of support. This exhibition had become more than an artistic endeavor, it was a community call to embrace vulnerability, connection, and healing through expression. As Amelia glanced at her daughters, the sparkle of exuberance in their eyes reflected the victory of affirming their truth. She felt a profound sense of satisfaction envelop her spirits. This was not only a personal achievement but also a milestone where she successfully modeled resilience and authenticity to her children. Their journey through hardship had culminated into this very moment, where their voices would no longer be silenced but celebrated. This reaffirmation of their worth was a powerful testament to their collective growth, a proclamation that they could conquer self-imposed limits and rise above. And so, as the evening drew to a close amid laughter, thoughtful conversation, and promising connections, Amelia stepped into a new chapter, one defined by confidence, creativity, and the unshakable belief that their story of empowerment had the potential to inspire others. Embracing her daughters tightly, she whispered promises of future endeavors layered with ambition and courage. In that embrace lay not just their dreams for the future, but the solid foundation of a family unafraid to push boundaries and forge connections through art. The night was an open door, a promise that true transformation was not merely destined but crafted through their shared experiences. Now, more than ever, she understood it was time to embrace who they were: artists, storytellers, and advocates for empathy, and step boldly into the world. Evaluate your own story. What will you share? You need to subscribe now, so you don't miss the next exclusive emotional stories. Leave a like now to feed the algorithm. Together, we can share narratives that matter. Comment your reactions and theories about this concluding journey. Don't wait even one more second to share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Your support plays a crucial role. Join us in this journey.